The stars above the outer rim of the galaxy burned quietly, but on the bridge of the vigilant dawn, tension crackled like electricity. Captain Elias Ward stood straight, his dark eyes scanning the holographic readouts. The ship had been patrolling this sector for months, a routine that was supposed to be dull. But today was not routine. Today, the Galactic Federation sent a message that made the air itself feel heavy. It was called a SEAL command, a directive so absolute that no being in the galaxy had ever refused it. It came directly from the Supreme Council, transmitted across millions of light years. Every officer, alien and human alike, knew the consequences. To refuse was not just treason. It was a declaration of defiance against the entire Federation. The message blinked on the main display. Its words were short but chilling. Break my seal. It is your command. Obey immediately. Elias stared at the glowing text. Something about it made his skin crawl. He had seen many Federation orders, some even harsh, some unfair, but never like this. There was a strange insistence in the words, as if the Council expected more than obedience. They demanded total submission of mind and will. The crew around him froze. Cathari, the ship's science officer, shifted uneasily. Her elongated fingers tapped the console as she whispered, "Captain, this is impossible. You can't just refuse. It's unthinkable." Elias did not answer immediately. He felt a strange vibration through the deck plates, a faint pulse that seemed to react to the message itself. The seal was not just words on a screen. It was energy, an invisible pressure that pressed against the mind of every officer on the ship. Some turned pale. Others stared blankly. Only Elias felt a spark of resistance, the instinct that this was wrong. He remembered the stories of Earth, long erased from the Federation's records, human colonies that had been wiped out, planets destroyed under the guise of investigation or enforcement. The memory of it lingered in him, not as history but as a warning. The SEAL command demanded trust, but trust had cost humanity dearly before. The crew waited, the silence unbearable. Finally, Elias's voice cut through the tension. "No," he said, his tone calm but firm. The word echoed across the bridge like a cannon. Shock spread instantly. Cathari's jaw dropped, and even Yulin, the diplomat from the core worlds, gasped. "No," she repeated, her voice trembling. "You're refusing a GF command. Do you understand what that means?" Elias turned toward the communication console. His gaze was steady, his expression unyielding. "I understand perfectly. I refuse because this is wrong. I will not open the seal." Murmurs of disbelief filled the room. The other officers exchanged glances, uncertain whether to follow orders or obey their captain. In the galactic fleet, refusal was unimaginable. Entire civilizations obeyed without question. No one had ever resisted a SEAL command. A static-filled voice suddenly came through the comm system. The Supreme Council, distant yet present, cold and authoritative. "Captain Ward, compliance is not optional. Failure to obey will result in immediate containment and removal from your position." Elias's eyes narrowed. "Containment?" he asked quietly, almost to himself. He had suspected that the seal was more than a simple order. The pulse he felt, it was not just energy. It was a measure of control, a pressure designed to enforce obedience. And that meant something inside the seal must be dangerous, something no one wanted released except through coercion. Yulin stepped closer, her eyes wide with fear. "Captain, the fleet." "They are moving toward our sector. Thousands of ships. If you continue to refuse, they'll destroy us." Elias did not flinch. He looked at the stars beyond the ship's windows. Millions of points of light stretched into the distance, beautiful and indifferent. "Let them come," he said softly. "I need to know what's behind this seal before anyone dies." Cathari shook her head. "You don't understand, Elias. Even thinking against a SEAL command can be treated as a crime against the Federation. They have ways to erase thought, to rewrite memory. Do you want to risk that?" Elias's hand brushed against a hidden panel on the console. Beneath it was a sealed file, a restricted archive marked Earth Eyes Only. No one else knew it existed. He opened it carefully, his eyes scanning the contents. Ancient reports, logs of destroyed colonies, intelligence about human resilience. The Federation had tried to control humans for centuries, labeling them as unpredictable, dangerous, and resistant to control. And now the SEAL command was a test of obedience, designed to break the will of a human who could think freely. Cathari leaned over his shoulder, her voice barely a whisper. Captain, if this is true, we could be part of something much bigger than we realize, something the Federation doesn't want anyone to see. Elias nodded slowly. Exactly. And if they succeed, every being under their control will lose their freedom. Every planet, every civilization, every life that is influenced by their SEAL commands will be trapped in obedience. That is why I cannot obey. The bridge was tense. Outside, the stars streaked past as the ship maneuvered through its orbit. Inside, fear mingled with awe. The crew began to realize that Elias's decision was no longer about a single order. It was about freedom, about the right to choose, about survival in a galaxy that often punished choice. Suddenly, the ship's sensors detected the first sign of the approaching fleet. Red markers appeared on the holographic display, hundreds of ships converging at impossible speeds. They moved with precision, a deadly tide of Federation power intent on enforcing the seal. Elias straightened. "Prepare for defense," he ordered. "Not because we want war, but because we want time. Time to understand what we're dealing with. Time to protect ourselves and maybe more." Cathari's eyes were wide. "You really think you can face the entire Federation fleet?" Elias shook his head. "I don't know if we can, but I do know that we cannot stand down. If we follow blindly, humanity and everyone else and will lose more than just a ship. They'll lose freedom itself." As the fleet drew closer, a strange pulse began emanating from the ship's core. The vault deep beneath the vigilant dawn, sealed for centuries, seemed to react to the presence of the SEAL command. The energy was faint but undeniable. Elias walked to the vault's security console. The crew followed, fear and curiosity mixing in their eyes. "This vault," Elias said, "was never meant to be opened lightly. It contains something the Federation thinks we cannot handle. And they were right, if it falls into the wrong hands. But maybe it's also the only thing that can give us a chance." He placed his hand on the vault's surface. The cold metal hummed as if sensing his touch. Elias felt a connection, a pull. He did not know what was inside, but something told him that this vault was linked to the seal, linked to humanity itself. The fleet's first ship entered sensor range, massive, menacing, its weapon systems glowing with intent. Cathari's voice trembled. "They're here, and there's no turning back now." Elias's hand stayed on the vault. "No," he said again. "We do not turn back. Not now, not ever. Humanity has survived worse, and we will survive this too. We will learn what they want to hide, and we will decide our own fate." The ship shuddered as the fleet's energy waves washed over their shields. Outside, the void of space was filled with the threat of annihilation. Inside, the crew held their breath. Elias looked at them, his gaze steady, commanding. "Hold your positions. Trust in your instincts. Trust in yourselves. Whatever is inside this vault, we face it together, and no command, no seal, will take away our right to choose." The vigilant dawn continued its slow drift toward the center of the approaching fleet, the golden light of distant stars reflecting off its hull. Inside, tension tightened every muscle, every thought. Outside, the first volley of Federation warning shots streaked past. Inside, Elias pressed a hidden button, revealing the contents of the restricted archive. The pages flickered, showing centuries of human history, erased colonies, and secret programs. Elias read quietly. The seal was not just a test, and it was a trap. It was a measure of control over minds and civilizations, designed to suppress any species that could resist. And for the first time, the crew realized something extraordinary. Humanity had survived because they had always resisted. They had always found a way to defy. Elias smiled faintly, though the fleet loomed ever closer. "We will not obey," he said, more to himself than anyone else. "We will survive, and we will find out what they tried to hide. Whatever it takes, we will not surrender." The stars outside shimmered. The first shots echoed in space. And beneath the ship, the sealed vault waited silently, humming softly, as if aware that the moment of awakening was near. Hook. Elias's fingers traced the cold surface of the vault. A soft vibration ran through the metal. The seal was no longer just a command, it was a challenge. And humanity had just begun to answer. The stars outside the vigilant dawn stretched into streaks of light as the fleet approached. Hundreds of Federation ships moved with perfect formation, their weapon systems glowing like cold fire. The hum of the ship's engines mixed with the quiet tension of the crew. Every being aboard, alien and human alike, could feel the weight of what was coming. This was not just a test of skill. It was a test of will, of courage, and of freedom. Captain Elias Ward walked slowly toward the vault beneath the ship. The golden glow from its sealed surface pulsed faintly as if alive. He did not yet know what lay inside. But instinct told him it was the key, the only key, to survival. Around him, the crew whispered softly. Cathari's long fingers trembled over her console. "Captain, what is in that vault? Why would the Federation guard it like this?" Elias's eyes did not leave the vault. "Something they do not want anyone to see," he said quietly. "Something powerful enough to change everything." The first warning shots from the fleet streaked past the ship's hull, shaking the bridge. Red lights flashed as shields absorbed the energy. The sound was deafening, and yet inside the ship the crew stood firm. They had never faced such overwhelming force, yet Elias's calm presence gave them courage. He pressed his hand against the cold metal of the vault. The vibration ran up his arm, and for a brief moment he felt as if the ship itself was alive. The pulse was not hostile. It was intelligent, responding to his touch, recognizing that the one who dared refuse the SEAL command was human. Cathari leaned close, her eyes wide. "Captain, it's responding to you, not the Council. Not the fleet," Elias nodded. "Then it knows. And if it knows, it can help us." He activated the control panel. Lights flickered across the room as the vault slowly began to unlock. A faint golden mist seeped out, filling the chamber with a warm, soft glow. The air vibrated with energy, but it was not dangerous. It felt alive. Old instincts stirred in the crew. Memories they had long forgotten, instincts suppressed by Federation control. Yulan gasped. "What is this?" she whispered. "I can feel. My thoughts are clearer. I remember things I thought I had forgotten." The vault's light grew stronger, filling the room, washing over the crew. Cathari took a step back, shielding her eyes. "It's like it's awakening something inside all of us," she said, her voice trembling, something the Federation tried to hide for centuries. Elias's hand remained on the vault. The golden mist swirled, forming shapes that almost looked alive, symbols, patterns, and finally words. A voice spoke, calm and clear, echoing in the minds of everyone on the ship. "Captain Ward," it said, "humanity's command protocol is now active. You have been chosen to awaken it."
"Your will has broken the seal." The crew stared in shock.
The vault was not just a container. It was an intelligence, a system created by ancient humans long before the Federation's control began. It had been waiting, dormant, for the right person to awaken it, a human with courage and free will. Elias swallowed hard. "So this is what they wanted me to open?" "Not a weapon, but a system, a human system." "Yes," the voice replied. "The Federation feared your potential. They feared that your species could resist control. And now, Captain, your defiance has restored the balance. You have freed the mind of humanity and its allies." Cathari's eyes were wide. "Captain, this could change everything. The Federation can no longer control us. They can't enforce the seal if this system is active." Elias nodded slowly. "Then we have a chance. A real chance." He looked out the window at the approaching fleet. "But we have no time. They will not wait. They will attack before we can fully understand what we've unleashed." The ship shuddered as the first Federation vessels opened fire. The golden energy from the vault spread throughout the ship, merging with its systems. The shields glowed brighter, absorbing attacks more efficiently. The crew could feel the difference. The ship was stronger, faster, more alive. Yulan turned to Elias, awe in her eyes. "Captain, the vault, it's helping the ship. It's like it knows what we need." Elias clenched his fists. "Then we use it, not to fight blindly, but to survive, to buy time until we understand the full power of this system." The Federation fleet closed in. Hundreds of ships, each armed with devastating weapons, surrounded the vigilant Dawn. They expected submission. They expected obedience. They expected humanity to kneel. But instead they were met with a ship glowing with golden energy, shields stronger than any in their calculations. Elias issued orders calmly, his voice firm. "Divert power to shields. Prepare defensive maneuvers. Monitor the vault's energy output." The crew moved efficiently, following his commands. Cathari accessed the vault's control interface, learning how it interacted with the ship's systems. "Captain, it's incredible. The energy, it's intelligent. It's thinking with us. It's predicting the fleet's moves before they happen. Elias smiled faintly. Then let them come. Let them see what happens when humans refuse to obey. Outside, the first volley of Federation attacks struck the shields. Red blasts exploded against the hull, but the ship held firm. The golden energy pulsed stronger with each impact, creating a protective field that seemed almost alive. Yulan's voice was tense but excited. Captain, the fleet is confused. They're not expecting this. They thought the seal would control us. They thought we'd surrender immediately. Elias looked at the stars ahead. We didn't surrender, and we never will. Not to anyone who tries to take our freedom. The vault's energy spread further, linking with other systems on the ship. It was awakening dormant defense mechanisms, old satellites and hidden archives that the Federation had long ignored. The crew could feel the weight of history in their hands, the truth of humanity's resilience hidden for centuries now fully awake. Cathari whispered, Captain, it's showing us everything. The colonies destroyed, the orders rewritten, the secrets the Federation tried to hide. We have the knowledge they feared. Elias's jaw tightened. Then we use it wisely. Not for revenge, but for survival. And for freedom. Every being in this galaxy deserves the right to choose, not just obey. The fleet launched a coordinated attack. Hundreds of ships fired simultaneously, their energy beams striking the vigilant dawn. But the vault's energy anticipated each move, directing shields and countermeasures with precision. The crew felt a strange sense of calm amidst chaos. The system guided them but did not take their will away. Yulan leaned close to Elias. Captain, this is incredible. We're not just surviving, we're gaining the advantage, Elias nodded. And we'll need every advantage. The Federation will not give up easily. They will come again. They always do. But now, we are ready. The vault pulsed brighter, almost as if it understood. The golden light filled the entire ship, spreading to every console, every panel, every deck. The energy merged with the minds of the crew, awakening instincts, memories, and knowledge long forgotten. Cathari looked at him, eyes shining. Captain, the system, it's not just helping the ship, it's helping us. Every being aboard is thinking clearer. We can anticipate, react, and survive together. Elias's gaze swept across the bridge. Then we fight, not because we want war, but because we have no other choice. And because we must protect the freedom of all those who cannot fight for themselves. The fleet hesitated, confused by the unexpected resilience of the vigilant dawn. Their calculations did not account for a human ship enhanced by ancient intelligence. Their orders were meaningless against the unpredictability of human courage, combined with awakened technology. Elias clenched his fist, prepare to engage. We do not bow, we do not surrender, and we will not be controlled. The vault pulsed again, its golden mist swirling like a living force. The crew felt it guiding them, not commanding them, strengthening them in ways they had never imagined. For the first time, they realized that the Federation's power was not absolute. Humanity's defiance had awakened something far greater, something the galaxy had not seen in centuries. Hook. As the first shots of the fleet ricocheted off the ship's enhanced shields, Elias pressed his hand fully against the vault. A deep hum filled the bridge and a voice whispered in his mind, Captain Ward. The true strength of humanity is now awake. The Federation will never control you again. The golden energy from the vault spread through the vigilant dawn, flowing into every system and every mind aboard. Captain Elias Ward stood at the center of the bridge, hand still pressed against the vault, feeling its intelligence awaken fully. It was not just a machine or a container. It was a network, a repository of humanity's resilience, knowledge, and will, something the Federation had feared for centuries. The fleet outside had stopped their coordinated attack. Their sensors and calculations were failing. The ships could not predict the movements of the vigilant dawn. Every human and allied officer aboard felt a sudden clarity, as if centuries of hidden knowledge and instinct had been restored. They could anticipate enemy strategies, react faster than thought, and coordinate in perfect harmony. Yulan's voice broke the tense silence. Captain, they can't see what's happening. They're confused. Their orders are useless, Elias nodded. Good, then we use this time. We're not just defending ourselves. We're going to show them that humans cannot be controlled, that freedom cannot be sealed. Cathari moved to the control console, her fingers flying across the interface, the vault. It's linking with every defense satellite, every hidden station, every ancient warship the Federation didn't even know still existed. Captain, we can fight on multiple fronts at once. Elias felt a surge of hope. This was more than a battle. It was the awakening of humanity's full potential, something the Federation had tried to suppress for generations. Prepare the ship, he said. We're not attacking blindly. We're reclaiming what was taken from us. Outside, the fleet shifted nervously. Hundreds of ships moved like a single organism, but the golden energy from the vigilant dawn made their attacks chaotic. Shields absorbed volleys before they even reached the hull. Systems overloaded, targeting arrays scrambled, and communication networks failed. The intelligence in the vault predicted each move before the enemy could make it. Elias turned to his crew. Remember this moment. Humanity stands not because of orders, not because of power, but because we choose to fight for freedom. Today we show the galaxy who we truly are. The first counterstrike was subtle but devastating. Hidden satellites, long forgotten by the Federation, fired coordinated bursts at the fleet, disabling engines and weapon systems without destroying lives. The humans and their allies avoided unnecessary casualties. Every move was precise, every strike calculated. The Federation had underestimated the human capacity for strategy and intelligence. Yulan gasped as a Federation command ship was caught in the coordinated strikes. Captain, they've never faced anything like this. They can't understand what we are doing. Elias smiled faintly. They will learn, and when they do, they'll remember what happens when humans refuse to obey. The golden light from the vault grew stronger, spreading through the bridge, through the ship, and into the minds of every officer. Memories long suppressed by the Federation returned. The aliens aboard remembered their own histories, their civilization's rebellions, and the injustices the Federation had erased. Cathari's voice trembled as she realized the truth. They've been controlling everyone, she whispered. All these years, civilizations manipulated, histories rewritten. And now we see it, Elias nodded. Yes, and now we have the chance to fix it. Not with violence, but with choice. With freedom. The fleet launched another wave of attacks, larger this time, more coordinated. Red energy beams sliced through space toward the vigilant dawn, but the golden energy pulsed stronger, anticipating and deflecting each strike. The ship moved like a living being, agile, precise, and unyielding. The crew's fear was gone, replaced with focus, courage, and determination. Yulan's eyes sparkled. Captain, the vault is teaching us. We're faster, smarter. We're not just surviving, we're leading. Elias's gaze was steady. Then let's finish this. The Federation has underestimated humanity for centuries. It's time they see what we are capable of. The vault hummed in response, almost like approval. A soft voice echoed in Elias's mind. Captain Ward, the full potential of humanity is now unlocked. Use it wisely. Protect all life. Reclaim freedom for every world. He nodded. Understood. With a deep breath, Elias issued the orders. Every system of the vigilant dawn synced with the vault. Ancient defense grids, long hidden, activated across the sector. Allied colonies secretly waiting for a sign began mobilizing. The Federation fleet was now surrounded not just by a ship, but by a network of human and allied intelligence and force. The first major engagement came near a strategic asteroid field. Federation ships thought they had the advantage, hiding behind massive rocks, but the vigilant dawn, guided by the vault, maneuvered perfectly, striking from angles the enemy never anticipated. Engines failed, weapon systems shut down, and command ships were forced to retreat. Cathari cheered softly. Captain, we're winning. We really are winning. Elias remained calm, his eyes on the display. This isn't just victory. This is the beginning. The Federation underestimated our resilience, our will, and our courage. They will remember that today. Yulan smiled, a mix of relief and awe. Captain, they're starting to retreat. Their formations are breaking. Elias nodded. Let them retreat. Let them spread the word. Humanity will no longer be controlled, and neither will anyone else who chooses freedom. The golden light from the vault reached a peak, bathing the entire ship in warmth. It had not only enhanced the vigilant dawn, but had strengthened the minds of every officer aboard. Humans and aliens alike felt clarity, courage, and the strength of choice. Elias looked around at his crew. Today we've done more than defend ourselves. We've reclaimed our right to choose, to think freely, and to survive. Remember this day. Remember that humanity will never bow blindly again. The fleet, now disorganized and confused, retreated in waves. They did not know what they faced, only that their orders and control systems had failed. Humanity had awakened something they could not contain, and the galaxy watched in awe as a single ship, guided by courage and intelligence, defied an empire. Cathari looked at the vault. "Captain, what is it exactly? How did it survive for so long?" Elias's hand rested lightly on the glowing surface. "It is the strength of humanity itself. It was always waiting for someone brave enough to resist, someone who would choose freedom over fear." Yulin stepped closer, eyes wide. "Captain, the fleet, the galaxy, they've seen what humans can do. They'll never underestimate us again." Elias shook his head. "They may try. They may test us again. But today we've reminded them that free will cannot be sealed, that no command, no seal, can take away the courage and strength of those who choose to resist." A quiet hum filled the bridge as the vault's energy stabilized. The ship felt alive, as if it recognized its purpose had been fulfilled. At least for now. The golden light softened, flowing like a gentle wave through the decks. The crew could finally breathe. Elias looked out at the stars. "We've survived. We've awakened something that was meant to protect us, and now we move forward. Not in fear, but in hope. Not as subjects, but as free beings." Cathari smiled. "Captain, humanity has returned, and so have we," Elias nodded. "Yes, and we will never forget what it means to be free." The vigilant dawn drifted through the calm void, the stars reflecting its golden glow. Across the galaxy, hidden colonies, suppressed civilizations, and oppressed worlds began to awaken. The Federation's control had faltered, and the first signs of rebellion, of freedom, began to spread. Elias lowered his hand from the vault. "This is just the beginning. We will rebuild, reclaim, and protect. Not for ourselves alone, but for every being who deserves the right to choose." Yulin stepped beside him. "Captain." "What now?" Elias smiled faintly, eyes on the distant horizon. "Now we guide. Now we protect, and now we ensure that no seal, no command, and no empire can ever take freedom from anyone again." The golden light of the vault dimmed, settling into a steady glow. The crew of the Vigilant Dawn stood together, united, strong, and free. They had faced the Federation, resisted the seal, and awakened humanity's true potential. The galaxy would never forget this day. And as the stars stretched into the endless void, one message echoed across the minds of all humans and allies. Command protocol verified. Humanity has returned. Freedom has awakened.